Thanks, Lachlan. Jeff, you jumped the first technical hurdle very well. Set the bar for me. Hope to do the same. Yes, very good. Great. Thanks, and thank you for coming along this afternoon. Sitting through the conference today, I find it amazing. Climate change issues, food security. It amazes me how we even get out of bed. Natural disasters. But I have to say that it's amazing that the farming community can actually manage to implement something like this while every day they face such a diversity of issues, extremity of weather conditions and all kinds of things that are beyond their control. So I think it's a real tribute to their commitment and ownership of this issue. Lachlan gave you a pretty brief overview of where ag stewardship is, and I'll go through that again. But this just gives you a bit of a roadmap of where we're going today. I'll outline what drumMASTER has done and ChemClear as well and what they've achieved. Look at some of the innovations that have come about, which is that spontaneity that Jeff was referring to. And by way of conclusion, reflect upon why, in the case of drumMASTER and ChemClear, these results have been achieved. Just a brief history. Where did it all start? Why did the industry, agribusiness, the chemical manufacturers, the farmers, local government, where did this start? Back in 1998, there was a national strategy for the management of ag-vet chemicals put in place. And in a response to that, the industry got together and said, we could do this on a voluntary basis. We can manage this ourselves. We can take control of the issue rather than wait for that top-down regulatory approach. So drumMASTER was started in 1999 and it was run by AgSafe Limited, which is part of the owned by CropLife Australia. In 2000, the ChemCollect program was run, which was a 2 or 3 year program which was designed to get all the legacy chemicals off farms. And that ran for a couple of years. And then in response to the results of the ChemCollect, industry said we'll start ChemClear, and hopefully what we'll be able to do is keep the amount of chemical stockpiling managed by running regular collections around the country. And ChemClear covers the chemicals that participate in the drumMASTER program. In 2008, the Industry Waste Reduction Scheme conducted a review of the arrangements, and one of the key findings was, from a governance sense, it would be beneficial to create a vehicle in which the ownership reflected the supply chain, and that's where ag stewardship was born from. And as Lachlan mentioned, we've been operating since 2009, and our focus is really on making sure that the drumMASTER and ChemClear programs continue their success of the last 10 years, but also our role will encompass looking for new areas of stewardship within the agricultural section. We collect the levy from the manufacturers and then use that to fund the operations of the programs, which are run on a daily basis by the AgSafe team. Jeff did go through this. drumMASTER, we collect and recycle the used ag-vet chemical containers, metal and steel. 4 cents a litre is applied for that when the product is purchased. The manufacturers pass the levy on to the end user, so it goes through the supply chain, so as to send a price signal to the end user that to purchase chemicals that are in single-trip containers, there's a disincentive because it's more expensive. In more environmentally friendly chemicals, for example, I'll get into the innovations later, but water-soluble bags in cardboard boxes, that doesn't attract a levy. So the design of the scheme is to send a price message about what is preferable behaviour and what isn't. So the end user then can return the drums, and this is the convenience service aspect of it, to their local collections agency or centre. And then drumMASTER has a network of processors which collect those drums and they are recycled. The key success of drumMASTER really is not just in the collection of the drums at the end of the pipe, it's also at what the manufacturers have been doing at the beginning of the pipe. and combining the innovation in packaging, using larger packaging, different kinds of containers, as I mentioned, the water-soluble bags, but also going to much larger bulk containers. The industry has reduced 75% of waste that have ordinarily gone to landfill. So they took a benchmark measure at the beginning of this program, and we keep comparing back to that. And looking at the waste that was going into landfill in 1999, we've now removed about 75%, actually a bit more than that, from landfill. So that's a major achievement, and it's achieved because they've worked at both ends, the whole of life cycle process. drumMASTER, 16 million, well, actually the latest number is nearly 16.5 million drums since it started. 80 plus manufacturers and suppliers participate, and we've virtually got all of the sales covered in Australia, 90% of them. We have over 700 collection sites across Australia. Most of those are based in regional and rural local government waste centres, transfer centres. And in that network, there's something like 3,000 inspectors trained who basically make sure that the drums that are coming back to the system are clean. That increases their value for the processors because they're able to use them, but it's also managing the health and safety risks for the inspectors and the people all along the handling chain. That quote there is from one of our farmers who I spoke to in WA, and the appreciation they have of being able to conveniently get rid of drums off their farms really assists in their daily management practices. ChemClear started in 2003, and it's focusing on removing unwanted chemical from farms, and it's a very different program. Handling chemicals requires a great deal of care, and we can't cut corners. It's a costly exercise, but it's also an important mechanism for farmers to get unregistered chemicals off their properties, or obsolete chemicals that are no longer required. The drumMASTER chemical participants, their chemicals are collected at no charge for the end user, but we also do run chemicals for the market failure, for the free rider chemicals, and also perhaps chemicals that we can no longer identify. We don't know whose chemicals they are. So this program really is trying to address the whole problem. We are trying to assist where free riders aren't contributing. We're still helping out. In that case, though, the user pays the cost of disposing of the chemical. So ChemClear, since 2003, has collected more than 250 tonnes of chemical from farms, and most of this, 98% of it, is actually used as a replacement for fossil fuels. It's actually used by the cement industry in their cement manufacture. And that has equated to around a 440 tonne saving in CO2 equivalents.